Hi guys, how are you all? I hope you all doing fine. In today's video I decided to share with you of my experience having a full blood test and also as a result having my iron infusion. So this was my first iron infusion. I've never done this before, so as I've never been trying to take iron supplements. Okay, so I thought my experience could be useful for you if you want to do it in the future, because I know that many people actually suffer from low levels of iron in your blood, and this is very, I would say, common condition for many, especially women than men. So I want to share with you my experience, how it was for me. I have a few bullet points in my notebook that I always do because I want to stay on track and I don't want to give you more information than needed, and I don't want to be talking too much at the same time as well. So first of all, why I decided to check my blood in the first place. For the past, I should say, probably 2 years, maybe a little bit more, I was just feeling tired. I was feeling not just tired but just lifeless, and I didn't have strength in my body. You know, sometimes I sleep through the night and I still wake up tired. So I was feeling fatigue as well sometimes as well, and just weak. So I thought maybe this is the part of my busy lifestyle, especially lately for the past 2 years when I started my studies full-time and I was working at the same time. So I thought maybe just too much of going on in my life and this is why I'm tired, you know. But then at the same time I thought, how about if I just go and check my blood as well to see if I'm iron deficient, or maybe I am deficient in certain vitamins or minerals or electrolytes, or maybe my thyroid gland is not working properly as well, because all of this can be covered under Medicare. In Australia it doesn't cost you a cent basically, and you can do it for free. So I thought I will go and I will do it and just see if I need to maybe take some supplements and things like that. So I went to normal clinic, which is a bulk billed clinic, and I went there to see one of the GPs of mine, and he asked me exactly the same reason, why do you want to do your blood test? And I explained to him what I just said to you, and he said okay. So he gave me referral to the pathology, and it's very comfortable that this clinic actually had a pathology room in there, so I didn't need to actually travel anywhere else. So their pathology is working from 7 o'clock until 6 o'clock at evening, and all 7 days a week, which is really, really comfortable. But he said to me that I needed to do an appointment on a certain day because he as a doctor needed to be during my infusion, and they have a special nurse who does infusions and do IV in general on a specific days and times. So he said you will need to arrange an appointment with the receptionist person to match that day when the doctor can be there, and also that nurse as well. So that was a little bit cutting down time for me because I'm working as well, so I needed to match my schedule to their schedule and availability as well. Okay, but it wasn't that hard, to be honest. We found a day that was suiting us all, and that was perfect. Then he said to me that he will send me to do a test for iron, which will be an iron study test. Then he will check my thyroid gland function as well. Then he will check my blood for cholesterol, minerals and vitamins and electrolytes, and also he will check my sugar levels as well. I think that was it pretty much. Yeah, so for the iron study test, that would be testing your ferritin, that would be testing your hemoglobin, that would be testing your vitamin B12 and some other things as well. And then he said to me, okay, if you can please fast before your infusion. So he said, if you will be taking your dinner the night before, make sure not to eat anything after, and then when you wake up in the morning, do not consume any solid foods. You only can drink water. I said, okay, no worries. And then with that, he gave me a leaflet, which is looks like this. This leaflet will tell you more about Ferrinject. Ferrinject is basically an injection that you will need to buy in one of the chemist warehouses. This Ferrinject is an iron compound form. This Therinject can be found in most of the pharmacies, like for example Chemist Warehouse or Jade Pharmacy and stuff like that. When you open this leaflet, this is more information for you to read. So this will tell you why have you been given this leaflet for, what is Therinject in general, what it is used for, how does it work, what doctor needs to know before your treatment, how will you receive your treatment. So it tells you how the procedure is going to be happening, what possible side effects that you might experience during or after your injection, and also what happens after your treatment finished, and when will you feel better, and when is going to be your next appointment. So basically the only downside with Therinject, in my opinion, is the side effects that you might experience. Every person will be different, but there are a few common side effects that people experience in majority, okay? And I will talk about those side effects a little bit later in this video. So when I've done my blood test, okay, I've got my results, and in those results I found that my iron level was all right, but my ferritin wasn't all right. My ferritin was only 23, and the proper level would be from 30 to 250, I think. I'll just grab my results and I'll tell you for sure. There we go. So basically my iron level was 26, okay? The normal ranges are from 5 till 30, and then my ferritin was 23, okay, when normal one is from 30 to 250. Okay, so ferritin basically it's a type of protein that helps to store iron in your body, and when they see the number 23, it means that my storage in my body is quite low, because the normal ones and the healthy one starts from 30 to 250. Okay, and then I also found that my vitamin B12 is a bit low as well. My one was 164, whereas the normal one starts from 150. But if you look at the healthy level, it actually has to be from 200 till 600 or 900. So I was a little bit deficient in B12 as well. Okay, and then I've got the results, of course, for everything else in my body, and I found that my thyroid gland is working fine. My vitamin D is good, so is the vitamin C. All my electrolytes like potassium and sodium and chloride and all of these things are fine as well. But I wasn't happy with my cholesterol level, okay? My cholesterol is not too high, it's still within the ranges, but it's just by few numbers between the ranges. Like, it's a little bit higher than I would expect. Okay, so is my triglyceride, I think this is how you call it. This is the free fats in your body, storage of the fat in your body. So that one was for me a little bit high. It was 2.3, while the normal one is from 0.6 to 2.0. So my one is 2.3. Okay, yeah, so I need to work on my cholesterol levels. Obviously, I need to review my diet again, and since I started to eat more healthy, this is one of my goals for this year. Like, the beginning of the year by itself was a boosting and sort of like starting point for me to look after my health a little bit better. This is why I started to consume the bone broth that you probably have seen in my previous videos, and I'm reviewing my diet in a way that I have to slowly skip more carbs, you know, and just I don't eat too much of sugary food, but yeah, maybe cut down a little bit of ice cream and stuff like that, because I do love ice cream. I don't eat it every day, but I do eat it maybe once or twice a week on that. But I do love bread a lot, and this is going to be my biggest issue, I think, because I do not eat pasta a lot, you know. I do not eat cakes or bikis or any of these things, you know, or buns and muffins. But I do love bread. I love to have a toast and stuff like that. So I'm not going to be completely like cutting that out of my diet, but I will reduce it to the number that is going to be a healthy number to keep my cholesterol levels in healthy level norm. And also I want to cut down on saturated fats as well, like butter and stuff like that. So I do love sometimes butter on my toast, or to add it to the pasta if I decide to eat pasta. So I have to cut down on that as well. Like, my diet is not that bad, but I do love to eat fatty chicken or fatty beef, so I have to cut down on that, you know. I want to add more beans, I want to add more grains to my meals, I want to add more avocados and stuff like that, which is the healthy fat, you know, nuts and spinach, and more seafood, you know, and stuff like that. So this is what I need to do. I also want to eat a little bit of liver to boost my iron levels more up and keep it in that level and stuff like that. So this was the only downside from my blood test, so my ferritin level and my cholesterol level. Okay, so cholesterol level will be fixed with the diet, and my ferritin level is going to be fixed with iron infusion and also with the diet to keep it ongoing as well. So how my iron infusion was happening, okay, so I've been fasting that day since 8 o'clock because this was my last food intake and my break at work, and then I came home and I slept. And because I ate late and I finished my work, you know, almost at 11, and I come home and I sleep almost at 12, sometimes I do feel hungry before I go to bed, you know. Sometimes if I have time and strength, I drink some of my bone broth, and then I do the same in the morning, you know. So I couldn't have my bone broth in the morning, and I remember that day I woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning, you know, because I was so tired from the shift the night before. So when I woke up, I was so starving. By the time I had my shower, you know, I got myself ready to go to the pathology, you know, sorry, to go to the treatment room to do my infusion. I just felt so hungry, and I felt a little bit even dizzy from that. So I decided, okay, I'm just going to have one of my juices, the green juices, like the one that have all the 5 or 6 different types of greens, like spinach, kale, and all of these things. And I had just a half a cup, like a small half a cup, and then I added a little bit of more water, and I was drinking water on my way to the clinic. So when I went there, the lady asked me, did you eat anything in the morning? When was your last food intake? And I said to her that I took it at 8 o'clock, and then in the morning I couldn't hold myself because I was feeling a little bit dizzy. I took half cup of a juice. So she asked me what type of juice, was it a lot of sugar in it, was it a soft drink or something? I said no, it was just a healthy green juice, you know, from healthy ingredients and stuff like that. So she said, oh, that's okay, that's fine. So the doctor came as well, and the doctor actually put the cannula in for me, and then the nurse came and she was doing the already IV infusion. Okay, so the Ferrinject, which is your solution, which is basically your iron compound in that small bag, will be run to you, to your vein through IV for about 1 hour. So I had 500 milligrams on 10 mils. So you basically buy in Chemist Warehouse 2 small bottles, which all in total will be 500 milligrams. Okay, and that solution will be run through your vein for 1 hour. Okay, really slow dripping factor. The solution looks like a blood. It's really not actually like a blood. It more looks like a red wine, really dark color. Okay, and usually the nurse will be staying with you and checking you every few minutes, because some people might develop an anaphylactic reaction that can be in a form of itchiness and redness and rash around the injection site, or it could be blocking of your breathing airways, and you might have difficulties of breathing, you know, swallowing in your throat and stuff like that. So the nurse will be checking you every few minutes, so as the doctor will be coming every maybe 20 minutes and see if you're all right and things like that. They will do your observations, which is your OBS, in the beginning of the procedure, and then they will check your temperature through the procedure just by putting thermometer in your ear. And then when the whole infusion is finished, which will take 1 hour, you will be asked to stay another half an hour in a room so the nurse could perform OBS right when the infusion is finished, and then the last OBS will be in the end of half an hour just before you go home. So they will check your blood pressure, they will check your pulse, they will check your oxygen level and your temperatures, just to see if you are normal. I remember when I started my infusion, my blood pressure systolic was 118, I think over 75 or something like that, which is normal for me. I'm usually between 110 to 115 for systolic. And then when I finished my infusion, I was 136, which was all right because it was a little bit of fluid given to your bloodstream. Usually when you have a little bit of fluid intravenously, you will have your blood pressure going up a little bit. So that was all right. I didn't have any anaphylactic reaction. I didn't have any stinging or pain around my side, so that was all right. The only risk my doctor said, except anaphylactic reaction, is dislodgement of cannula, because if the cannula for some reason got dislodged and any of the ferritin will go to the surrounding tissue, it might leave a permanent stain. So you have to be really careful as a nurse, you know, and just watch the nurse. So she would take the cannula carefully out. Okay, I had a little bit of weird experience happen to me during that day. So basically I had RN nurse who put for me the cannula that day. Okay, sorry, the doctor who put for me the cannula that day, and he attached the cannula with the sticky type, and then he left. And then when the nurse came, she attached the line for the IV to the cannula. Okay, and apparently she just tied it too hard. So when another nurse came who was looking after me through the infusion, and she's supposed to take my obs in the end, because I didn't see the other RN anymore. It was completely different person with me through the whole procedure and in the end as well. When the line was almost finished, I saw the ferritin was running through the line, you know, and she just clipped it in the middle, so half of the solution in the line was still in the line. Okay, but she clipped it because it was already air coming and you can't allow air to go to the vein, so she needed to clip the line. And then she started to take the line, disattaching it from the cannula, and she twisted and turned it, you know, in different direction, and she stayed like this for probably a minute trying to take it apart. And I was like, I said to her, please stop, because I feel like she's pulling my cannula out, you know, I feel it, and the ferritin is still in a line because the clip is above it, and there is a still solution running through the line, you know. And I felt like she's going to dislodge my cannula, you know, while it's still inside, and the ferritin, the iron solution, will run through to my tissue and leave a permanent stain, and it will look like a bruise. And if you've seen ever, or if you Google how the permanent stains look like from iron, it won't go away. It stays all your life. It's not the pleasant thing ever. So I said to her, please stop, don't do it. And she was like, oh, I don't know what the person who done it so hard, you know, who tightened it so hard and stuff like that. So I said to her, just leave it like that, you know, because she needed to do the flush, because usually when you do any infusion, when you finish, you need to do the flush. So you basically do the flush before, when you just put the cannula to see if the cannula is in place and the liquid runs smoothly through the vein, and then when you finish infusion, you have to do flush again. So this is what she was trying to do, and she was trying to disconnect the line to do the flush to the cannula. So I said to her, if you can't disconnect it, just leave it, because the line by itself, your IV line, has another port, small port, usually for additional medication to be injected together with the solution that's running through the main line. So you can use that port to actually do the flush. The only thing you will need to do is put the needle to your syringe to use the needle for it. Whereas if you disconnect the line to the cannula, you don't have to use the needle, you can just attach the syringe directly to it. So I said to her, just use the needle, you know, and do the flush from there. She said, oh no, like, you don't do the flush through there. And I said to her, you can do the flush through there, okay, you can do it. It's better than if you dislodge now the whole cannula and you will leave me with no flush, and the iron will go actually to my tissue. And then she looked at me and she got red, and like, I was speaking to her calm and nice, but at the same time I was worrying about myself as well, you know. So she probably felt a little bit awkward and embarrassed at the same time, but I was worrying for my safety, really. So she took the syringe, you know, and she attached the needle, and she done the flush through that small port, and that was fine. And then in the end I said to her, just pull out the cannula together with the line all together, you know, you don't have to disattach it, just take the whole thing out. So she's done that, and yes, that was good. So no iron went into my tissue, which was great, basically, you know, because if that would happen, what they would say, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm sorry for that, like, it's not my fault, someone else tightened it too hard, you know. Why I have to deal with it if I can prevent it? I have basic knowledge, you know, I've done a lot of IVs to the patients in the hospital. I know what it's like, you know, so if I wouldn't have that knowledge, I would probably sit just quiet and wait for her dislodging my the whole cannula, you know. So but because I had that knowledge, I actually, you know, gave her this knowledge, you know, this information, so that I could stay safe, basically. But yeah, so that was a funny experience in the end. But in general, I felt all right after infusion. They kept me there for 30 minutes. My ops were fine before I went home, okay. And then my GP, he said to me that I would like to see you in 3 months time, so you could do your repeated again blood test to see if your level of iron went up to a healthy level, and it was staying the same way. So he said to me also, please review your diet, consume more food that has iron in it, just try your best to do it. And also he said to me that when you go home, you might experience side effects. So in these leaflets, they will tell you different side effects that majority of people will have. And most of them is headache, okay, dizziness, nausea, and just feeling sick. This is the most common effects that most of the people will have, okay. And then you will have something like flashing, skin rash, skin reactions where injection site was, you know, feeling sick and things like that. So these are the less common. So I remember that day I had my iron infusion and I needed to go to Coles or Woolworths to buy something. I went and I spent about an hour or hour and a half in the shopping center, and then when I came home and I just changed, I had shower and stuff like this, and the headache kicked in, and the headache was so strong. Oh my god, I was like, it was really strong. Like, all this area was hurting me so bad. It was like a migraine or something. It was so strong. And then with the headache started nausea to kick in. I was feeling like I'm going to vomit, but I was not vomiting, you know. But every now and then, if I stand up, if I move suddenly, if I walk somewhere, you know, if I turn or something, I feel like I'm going to vomit. And those flashes of nausea were coming in and leaving me, coming in and leaving me again. And that was terrible. That was really terrible. So the doctor said to me it will stay from 1 day till 2. This is the majority of time people usually have it, 1 or 2 days, and then it should go away. So I thought to myself, I'm not a big fan of Panadol or Nurofen and all of these drugs. So I thought, okay, the first day I can stand it, it's all right. I had a day off that day, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to lay down, you know, because if I was laying down and not moving, the nausea would go away, but the headache would be still there. So first day I didn't take any painkiller. But when I woke up second day, I already had PM shift that day, so I had time at home until 2 o'clock roughly, and the headache was so strong that I couldn't stand it anymore. And I thought, okay, I have my PM shift and I can't cancel it because it's such a short notice. So I decided to take Nurofen. So I took 2 tablets of Nurofen, and it helped a little bit, you know, so it blocked the pain, but I still had nausea. So even when I went to work, what was saving me is that I was eating mint candies, okay, the ones that are not sufficient in sugars. So I was having like really strong mint candies and also mint gums, okay. And what else was helping me is the orange juice. Something sour was keeping me away from like feeling that bad of vomiting and stuff like this. So that was keeping me a little bit like, you know, better, making me feel better. So I survived that day, and then I thought, oh, okay, 2 days are finished, tomorrow I'm going to be fine. No way. I woke up the next day. Actually, I came from the shift the same day. I still had the headache, so I took 2 tablets of Nurofen before I went to bed, and I thought, okay, tomorrow is going to be a perfect day, you know, because 2 days now are finished and hopefully won't have any side effects anymore. Well, I was wrong. I woke up in the morning, you know, and I still felt headache. And it sort of like moved to my left side, you know, in this area here, and I was like, oh no. And I had work that day, so I took my breakfast and I took another 2 tablets of Nurofen. And then when I was moving around the house, I felt like nausea came back as well, and It was few times when I was so nauseous that I couldn't actually move, you know. I thought like this time I'm going to vomit for sure, but it didn't happen, because every time I felt strong like that, you know, that I'm going to vomit now, I was just sitting down and just staying still, or lying down and staying still as much as I could. And after some time it just passed away. And sometimes it was helping me to close my eyes, put the fan on, you know, to keep myself cool, you know, and it was helping me as well. So that was third day. So I was surviving again on Nurofen twice a day, and I was not taking anything from nausea. I was just trying to again at work I was taking my mint tablets, you know, and my the candies, mint candies and mint gums, you know, and having orange juice as well. A few of the nurses told me you can try ginger beer, you know, or kombucha, ginger kombucha as well. That would relieve nausea feeling a little bit as well. And then the fourth day I woke up with no headache. So basically my headache was going slowly away by the evening of the third day, because I remember when I was finishing my shift I didn't take the second time Nurofen because I didn't have that strong headache. So when I woke up on the fourth day, I didn't have any headache, but I still had nausea, especially when I was moving and doing like things around my house. I still had nausea for about a midday or something like that. So that was my experience, okay? My advice to you, if you will have iron infusion, allow yourself time off work, okay? And if you have small kids, if you have someone who can look after those kids during these few days, at least 2 days, because this is the majority of people, because this is the like main two days that people will have the symptoms, you know. Not many people like me would have it for 4 days, maybe because I'm just weak or something, I don't know. But allow yourself to have that time to actually rest, because the more you move, the more nauseous you will feel. And I don't know if some people actually vomit. Like, I didn't have vomiting, but I was to the point like I'm about to do it, and it doesn't feel nice. Like your head would spin, you know, and it's just... Also, I had flashes of heat and cold. Sometimes I feel like I'm so hot and I'm sweating, and then I feel really cold. That was weird. Yeah, so those ones were my side effects during my iron infusion. So now it's been 5 days. Today is the 6th day. Actually, yesterday was 5th. Today is the 6th day, beginning of the day 6. I wouldn't say like I'm feeling super energized, you know, full of energy and stuff like that, but the doctor said to me that you will notice the difference after first week finished or after second week. So in a 1 week or 2 week time, you will start to feel different in your energy level, in the way how you feel in general, okay? So as he said, allow yourself 1 or 2 weeks just to experience, you know, those changes and stuff like that. So I'm patiently waiting when I will feel better. I wouldn't say that I'm feeling really tired. Like today I woke up full of energy, even though yesterday I had really hard shift. Okay, we had a few emergency calls and stuff. It was really hard shift. And yeah, yet today I woke up completely fine. I woke up at 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning, and I slept yesterday about 12:30ish, something like that. And I still feel full of energy. Maybe that's the bone broth as well, does the wonders, because I do drink it before I go to bed and in the morning as well. So maybe that does a lot of changes in my body in terms of how I feel now, plus my iron infusion. So yeah, I think I will do updates on this video maybe in 2 weeks time, to be fair enough, like to wait all 2 weeks to see if there's any changes in how I feel and stuff like that. And yeah, I think it would be interesting for you guys to see if it did work for me, you know. And then in 3 months time I will do my blood test and I will show you the results, you know, to see if my levels of ferritin went up to the healthy level, basically. Okay, what I also wanted to mention is the price. So basically when you go to Chemist Warehouse, you will find there 3 different prices, actually 4. But the last one is not actually a price, but I will explain to you what I mean by that. So the first price is going to be $160, and this will be applicable to people who do not have Medicare card. Second price is going to be $40. This is for people who have Medicare card. third price is going to be $5.60, which is for people who have a concession card. And the fourth one is going to be $0. You don't have to pay anything at all because it falls into safety net, which means those people who have really low income, they're obviously on Centrelink payments, and they consume a lot of medication, a lot of treatment due to their condition, and they have a big list of different health conditions. They do not need to pay anything for this type of injection. Okay, so yeah, so for me, I paid $5.60, and I'll explain to you why. Because as a full-time student, I think I touched on this a little bit in my previous videos, when I do have placements go usually for 3 weeks and 4 weeks time. It means that you are basically for 1 month in a workforce working for free. You have no income coming. You will be doing your placement, your clinical rotation, whatever you call it, for full time. You can't catch up at your work to do any other shifts to bring income to your life. You will be only doing your placement, basically working for free. So how can you cover yourself during that 1 month? Okay, what I've done for myself is that I applied for O-Study. This is government funding for people who do full-time study, and even though I work, I do not receive any payments during my studying period. Before I go on my placement, I do not receive any payments because I have more than enough from my income. But when my placement starts, okay, I don't have any income coming. So this is where O-Study, or Australian government system, is covering me for that 1 month where I'm on my clinical rotations. I think they pay $570 or something like this every fortnight. So this is basically, it's not that much of money, but yet it's covering my rent somehow at least. Okay, so because of that, because I'm on O-Study, I have a concession card. Because O-Study, as I mentioned now, it's a government funding, like government financial support to individuals who either searching for work or studying and stuff like this. For me particularly, it's for studying. So I have a concession card, and this concession card allows me to buy certain medications in a lower price, you know, and also, as with this ferritin injection, I could buy it for $5.60 instead of $40, which was great. Another cost that you will need to pay, and I think it might be different from state to state, but in Queensland, I think it's since 2020, year 2020, you will need to do a contribution in amount of $20. This is like a cap fee that you need to pay for the service and equipment or something, they said, something like that. Anyway, so this is what I paid. So I paid $5.60 and I paid $20 after my infusion. I did not pay for my blood test. That was covered by Medicare, and I didn't pay for anything else. So basically, this is the cost of your iron infusion. Okay, I'll just see if I wanted to say anything else. I think pretty much, I think this is it. This is all what I wanted to mention, basically. So now at this stage, it's been almost 6 days since my infusion. I will try to now eat more healthy. I will make for myself, actually, I will Google up some images of foods that would have iron in it, you know, something that contain high level of iron in it, and I will print it out. And I want to buy like a pin board and put it in my laundry room, because I usually walk inside the house from the garage and I have my laundry room in there. So when I leave the house, I will always have few images on my pin board reminding me which food can contain iron in it and B12, because as I mentioned before, I need to actually boost my B vitamin level, and also I need to lower my cholesterol. So I will do the same thing. I will find on internet some images of the food that can lower my cholesterol, and also which foods to stay away from, and I'll print it out. And I'm a visual person, I like visual things, so I'll print this out and I will pin it to my pin board, and I will always have it in my on my side when I leave the house, especially when I go do shopping. I will be passing through my laundry and I'll say, oh, okay, fish, okay, grains, almond nuts, you know, avocados, you know, and oh yeah, I'll add it to my list. I'll add it to my list. So I want to just keep myself healthy, you know, and I want to keep this reminder for myself before I go and buy new foods. So yeah, I will update you next time in 2 weeks time. I'll tell you how I feel passing these 2 weeks, if I have any difference, you know, if I feel more energetic and stuff like that. So yeah, so stay tuned to that. I hope this video was useful for you. Again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer it. For now, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!